want to share with you how you can create like a textile or fabric design on paper. So basically I'm going to be using my stencils here. If you are new, then these are available on my Etsy, Alyona Creates, and I've got the water lily, iris, tulip and chrysanthemum. So I put these up on sale now, so they are 40% off, so it's a brilliant deal, and it's going to be running until 8th of June. So if you're interested, just to let you know. Yes, so today basically what you will need is, apart from stencils, you can obviously use other stencils that have kind of patterns on them that you could use. I like these ones, and that's why I designed them, because they have floral inspired patterns. So I'll show you how to use them, and then you'll need to have some sort of inks. Now I particularly like the matte, like the matte looking chalk inks. So these are the dewdrops, and I have a video where I think I might have listed most of them, but anyways, so if I have, I'll just link it somewhere here for you. Okay, and then you'll need some sort of you know, tool. I really like these brushes. They are intended for makeup, but they do a brilliant job for using them with inks. This is the Fashion Base. I will link it down below for you. And you'll need a few of them. Oop. I haven't actually washed these, so they're quite dense and they're filled with colors. So I'll use similar colors to what's already on them, but if I'm going to use a new color like a pink here, then I'll go for a clean brush. So this set had 5 brushes. Yeah, so just get this one ready. Okay, so what we're going to do is essentially create designs. So I'm going to get these inks out. I have gone ahead and kind of put little clusters of colors, which I think is what I want to play with. So the 3 colors here, I have Cloud White, Sage and Tea Leaves. Then I have this combo here, which is Aspen Mist, Pink Grapefruit and Mango Madness. I might change my mind as I go, but basically those are the colors I want to use. And Galaxy Gold with Sea Breeze. I think that would make a really neat combo as well. Right, then we obviously have the stencils, and I'm going to work in this sketchbook today. So here's what I've been playing with, and I really like the look of it. So you can see the gold here. The Galaxy Gold is what I used in a few areas to lift the design, kind of like that. So essentially in this particular look, what I did was I used the center of the water lily stencil, and basically just, for instance, here. So I would take an ink and the brush and kind of concentrate on the middle of the, or on the center of the stencil, kind of pressing harder and then lifting the pressure as I would go slightly out. And then I would move my stencil to other areas and repeat with different colors, so that it kind of starts to blend in and look like, you know, like a continuous pattern. So this is great for creating cards, if you wanted to create some sort of background and make paper look like fabric, or it's also great for, what this is actually why I have designed these, is to, I'll try to find it here, is to use with you know, doll illustrations. Again, if you knew, all of these dolls I have created with my clear stamp set, which is right here. So the face of the day, also available on ESSIE. Okay, so here we go. So you can use them in a number of ways. So here are the full stencils. Again, if you're new, you will not have seen it, but if you already know it, I just will repeat it quickly. And can do backgrounds, can do all sorts of things with gradients. So again, press harder towards this way. How you do this is by creating a mask to cover the face and then work around it. So when you lift the mask, you will end up with a design looking like it's coming from underneath. And then with less pressure towards the edges of the stencils, you create this ombre effect, going from the lightest to the darkest. And then obviously overlapping different stencils, creating a more dense look and kind of dressing your dolls. And then just using stencils for stencils and just doing the old school lining out with a pen. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing today. Playing with the stencils. I'm just going to move that to a side. This sketchbook, if you're interested, I'll leave a link in the description. It is the Jackson's own brand sketchbook, which I quite like for just experimenting. It doesn't sort of take too much water, but it's great nonetheless with watercolor as well. You can see the colors just popping. It makes it look super, super bright. And just, yeah. Okay, so let's start. So let's use a different stencil this time. So the water lily I'll just put back in. Okay, so what I'm looking at is different parts of the stencils that I could use. So for instance, let's go with the chrysanthemum. Okay, so I'm switching to voiceover and speeding up the video a little bit because it just was a little too long. And yeah, so I think it's better for me to kind of speed it up and talk you through the process. So there I was trying to bring a combination of colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to demonstrate to you the other three stencils, and the one that I'm currently working with is chrysanthemum. So I'm starting by using Mango Madness Dewdrop chalking and just selecting an image that I like in the stencil. So in this case it's just the center of the chrysanthemum. So these stencils are inspired by flowers, and hence I call them after the flowers, and then create the shapes that remind me of those specific flowers. Then I'm just moving around the stencil and creating an organized pattern, repeated pattern. So in this case it's going to be quite sort of formal in the beginning. Now I'm going to build it up a little and use the space in the middle to fill the same stencil, but this time I'm turning it so that it's kind of, instead of the X, it's more of a cross shape. And I'm using that pink grapefruit color this time, and I actually quite like it the way it is right now, and I almost feel like I should have left it at that because it will be slightly overworked and build up, but then you can see the difference what you can create, really, whether you can just do like a more spaced out pattern, or you can go all the way and create a very busy layered pattern. So now I went in with the Aspen Mist, which is a grayish blue, very pretty color, and then just filling up any spaces that I can see. And that sort of, again, is still quite breezy, I'd say. It still has a little bit of space and it's not overfilled, and yeah, but I just kept going. Wherever there is white space, I would repeat and then do it in such a way that it's kind of a geometric repetition of shape rather than a free kind of handed shape. So the mistake I've done here in a way feels to me like I went for this, not this one, this is the pumpkin something, let's see, this is the pumpkin spice color, which is a bit orangey and it's still quite nice, but in a minute I will swap to the Cosmic Copper, and that's a color I'm just not getting on with because it's way too juicy, and I tried so many times to stencil with that color and it always messes it up and creates these kind of leaks of ink, and then you completely lose the detail of the stencil. So you can see at this point, actually even here I should have left it. It's I'm trying to break up that formal shape and it actually looks really pretty, but I feel like I have gone a step too far by now using this next ink, which is Cosmic Copper, as I just said, and you'll see what I mean. So you can see here I'm totally kind of getting smudges and just, yeah, a little bit more of a messy look, but again you can just see how different it could look. So my advice would be just in general to avoid this particular ink. That's the only ink I'm not getting on. All the others I have loads of colors from this brand. They're beautiful, and even the gold, which is also the Brilliance, and I have another Brilliance color, they're really beautiful, but the Galaxy Gold is my favorite gold ink ever, just not this. Okay, so from this I will then move on to the next color. So I'm picking a color scheme. In that case it was, let's see, it was the Tea Leaves, which is a muted beautiful green, and then we have Sage next to it, and there is a Cloud White. I don't remember if I will use the Cloud White in this one. So here I was showing you that you can use these stencils also with acrylic paint, which is why this stencil is colored. However, I haven't really washed mine, I just wiped it a little. I mean, I designed them, so I have plenty of them to kind of, you know, replace if they go bad. But the idea here is, if you do want to use these stencils with acrylic, do make sure that you wash them thoroughly, because you don't want the acrylic to start building up on the stencil, because that will make the detail, some of the details are very tiny, so you could lose some of those details if the acrylic paint starts to build up, basically. Yeah, so I was too lazy. I'm just saying, don't do as I did, to wash it off. Okay, so here I'm using the next stencil, which is Tulip, I believe. Let me just double check. Yep, it is Tulip. So I used just one corner of that tulip design with that tulip design, if that makes sense, and it kind of looks really pretty. It sort of has that lacy effect to it, and with that tea leaves, is it tea leaves? Yeah, tea leaves color, I kind of build it up with using a bit more pressure and making it darker, less pressure and making it lighter, and then I wanted to add a little like another dimension of a green, and that's when the sage came in. So it's more of a pastel kind of color. So now I am using the white, and the white kind of came out looking more of a cream, and that might be maybe because there was, I don't know, mixing with the other colors underneath or something like that, but it's alright. And in that case I also used, I think, the center maybe of the yeah, I used the center of the stencil. And then I am now going in with the color called the Brilliance Pearlescent Beige. So it's got a beautiful little sheen to it, and it looks very pretty with the stenciling. So that makes a nice little fabric design. Kind of makes me think of a nice summery dress. I would love this turned into fabric. Anyway, we're not creating fabric here, we're just playing with paper, creating fabric, textile, pattern, look. Now, next one I'm moving on to the Iris stencil. Here I'm going to use again the corner of it, and I'm just moving it around up and down the paper. And I'm using this beautiful color, which is Sea Breeze. It's just such a gorgeous blue. It's like a light turquoisey blue, beautiful color, highly recommended. Now I'm going to swap this stencil to the bottom and use it that way. So I'm kind of using it. Before I was stenciling it upwards, and now it's downwards. It's the same pattern I'm stenciling, just the bottom of it, like, you know, pointing down rather than upwards, if that makes sense. And the other good thing with these inks is if you use a brush that already has been seasoned with another color previously and has dried up a little bit, what will happen is the new color will pick it up slightly, and then it will kind of blend it. So now I'm using again the same stencil, just using a different part of the stencil. So in this case it's the center, and I really like the way it came out. It was very easy and quick to do, as you can see. Okay, so this is it. I have showed you all 4 stencils, and I really like this design as well. So basically you can do all sorts of things, and you can use all of the stencils in so many different ways, not just you know, using one of the aspects like I have shown, but you can use other bits and pieces. You could isolate certain areas of the stencil and each time create a new design. So I hope you found this somewhat useful. And what you could do as well, if you have seen this paper doll tutorial, which I'll try to link up here, it's a 2-part video because it's super long. You can create like these fabrics and then cut out the dresses out of them and give her nice new dresses every time. So you could do that. And that is it for today. Thanks for watching, and see you soon.